Welcome to Snowmobile Sessions Live on YouTube and your favorite podcast platforms. It's the #1 destination to learn about snowmobiling, network with other sledders, and have an awesome time doing it. We'll meet other snowmobilers that share your passion and show your fan photos along the way. Snowmobile Sessions Live. Enjoy the ride.
All right, we're here tonight with Tomas Berntsson. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. Good. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you for joining us. I think you're a little off my time zone tonight, are you?
Yeah, I'm about actually just 6 hours off your time zone. So I'm over in Sweden.
And what time we got you there?
It would right now be 1 a.m. Tuesday morning.
Well, thank you for putting up with us tonight. That's really,
Oh, my pleasure.
I'm glad you were able to get out of bed and get cleaned up for the show. For people watching the show and maybe not knowing exactly who you are and what you're about, you want to tell us how you got started in the snowmobile clothing industry?
Yeah. I have a feeling that I share the story with a lot of other business owners in the snowmobile industry. I started in the snowmobile industry simply because I wanted to pay for my snowmobiling with my company money. So figured out a way of getting into the industry basically.
Nice. And
So it is
you
as
are,
simple as that.
and you're being really humble here, but you're the guy that really changed the way that we look at snowmobilers in general, look at what they wear when they ride. Yeah, I mean, you've been credited with the development of the monosuit. Are you really the first? I know you made it the best. How did that all come about?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to claim the one-piece suit, and especially among snowmobilers. So definitely don't do that. But I guess we brought it back, I would say, and made it a technical garment that snowmobilers, I guess, rediscovered through us around back in 2007, and then during the following years.
And what did you change when you brought it back? I mean, I know there were some tweaks like longer arms and, less diaperish.
Yeah, less diaperish. Well, I mean, to start with, my first business plan, so I started designing and manufacturing snowmobile gear back in the late 2001. And in my very first business plan, I actually wrote that I would never make a one-piece suit. And that was very much based off of seeing snowmobilers when I grew up wearing these big, thick one-piece suits that were, just warm and very non-technical, and not very practical, not very good looking, but very warm. And I also grew up seeing my dad ski in a one-piece suit back in the 80s, and that was not a pleasant view. So I really didn't have like much positive to say about one-piece suits. So definitely didn't plan on making one for snowmobilers. But in 2006, 2007, we started working on a concept for keeping the elements out, and basically perfecting the snow skirt to make sure we wouldn't get snow inside our pants. And then we realized the solution to that was a one-piece suit. So we made it a technical garment, made it like fully seam sealed, super waterproof, very durable, and very practical and functional. And then we introduced it as something that, we hoped would maybe piss off a few people, not really, just causing some attention. That's all. Uh, but then it kind of blew up from there.
Yeah, right on.
I love your comment about suits in the 80s and 90s. So you just weren't all about the leather then, or
I didn't see much of those actually where I grew up. Like my
Too cold.
family were big skiers. Yeah, but family were big skiers, so I guess they were in the whole like into shells and things already back then. But one piece suits was a thing. Like I would imagine around 85, 86, 87 at some point, and I remember my dad having one. But yeah, no, like the motorcycle style, the old Arctic Cat suits. I no, I didn't never see those in reality. I did see the pictures though.
Yeah, there's a few people around us that still have them, probably in the chat right now, you know?
Probably still
Oh, I
wear
would
them.
imagine. Probably still, and which they should. Like those
They
things
last forever.
are. I don't know if you try to find one on marketplace recently, but they are hard to find and they're getting pretty expensive.
They are,
It's
they
like
for
finding
sure.
it's like finding a nice mint condition triple sled these days.
Yeah, yeah, believe me, it is. When you started the doing the clothing and developing the what what the traditional snowmobile suit is, even for mountain or trail, was there much competition as far as like now, you know, BRP, Skidoo, Lynx has their own line, Yamaha had their own line of clothing, but I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that when you started, there wasn't a lot of that. There wasn't a lot of choice for snowmobilers to wear, was there?
Well, certainly much less, but also maybe I shouldn't say that. You know, there's always been a lot of brands, I feel like, but there was not a lot of choices if you wanted to find something technical. And by technical, I mean something that was, you know, had a membrane that made it waterproof, windproof, and etc., and breathable. So the technical competition for us back then was limited to I would say two or three brands at the most, I think.
Right, right. And how does that change the way you look at competing in that market today? Because you know you have Climb again, Skidoo, Polaris has their own. Oh, Climb is Polaris, but Arctic Cat probably has their own manufacturers lined up. How do you look at that from a competitive point of view?
Um, I mean, it's hard to say. You're the guys that wants the branded gear. I think that's a niche market that it's just it is what it is.
Yeah,
You're never gonna be able to compete with that. Then I think that market share is also a difference between the trail market and the mountain market. I feel like in the mountain market, the like the OEM branded clothing you rarely see it in the same way. Think I see some more of it on the trail market. But yeah, the competition has been it's getting bigger and bigger. Like I said, back when we started, well, Climb was around obviously, and they were good back then already. And but since then, there's been a lot of brands popping up for sure.
yeah, absolutely. And what do you do that's unique compared to what the manufacturers or these other clothing manufacturers are coming out with? How do you look at it different?
Well, my vision with Tubi and I guess the vision that we bring with us into now Mountain Grit uh, was always to kind of look at I mean, as I said, I grew up skiing. I didn't grow up snowmobiling. That's something I got myself into in my teens. And growing up skiing, I feel like we had other fashion ideas that we brought with us into designing our first snowmobile collection. So I always wanted to be, well, back then at least, to be more have more like sport ski and snowboard influences, and then we added on the practical features of a snowmobile suit, a snowmobile jacket, the pockets, the well, all the practical details plus the materials obviously, so much more durability and much more ruggedness. But we try to keep the fashion influences with the colors and general fashion trends more from the ski and snowboard world than from the motorsport world. So I think that's maybe what made us unique in the beginning, and made us stand out more, at least back then. Now I feel
Right.
like a lot of these, especially the brands that try to label themselves as mountain brands, they're doing sort of the same thing. There's much more of the general mountain backcountry, so to say, trend that goes into their designs as well. So maybe that we influenced that as well a little bit. I don't know.
Right. Right. Give people a little bit of background on 2B and your journey with that company and how you kind of ended up where you are today.
Uh, well, as I said in the beginning, I was really looking for a way to pay for my snowmobiling with my company money. So back then, I ran uh, how do you say, mechanical shop, like a fabrication shop. I was a welder, and I had all these machinery. So started to make snowmobile parts, and CNC'd everything from bar risers to different reinforcement specialty parts. Started making a lot of running board reinforcements, and for traction and for durability. So that's kind of how I got myself into the snowmobile industry. That was never like a huge business or anything, but after doing that for a while, I got to know some people that worked in the apparel industry, that had contacts with designers and product developers. So I and this is back in 2000 2001. And if you remember how the Sleddex movies and like all these other movies that were put out, to Short Cold Smoke, uh, huge influence on backcountry riding back then. And really, what, in my opinion, what was kickstarted the whole backcountry trend, really. So from at least, and for me, it was a huge influence in the way that I wanted to create something that was more youthful, uh, more like the ski snowboard style that I was aspiring to have, but technical at the same time. So the idea came to us that, well, we should start Tubi as a backcountry brand with more technical features, but designed as we would design a ski jacket, basically. So
Right.
that's how we started. And yeah, that was in 2000, 2001. And I wasn't very old. I was 21 at the time. So, treated and did whatever any average 21, 22-year old would have done with the same situation. Had a lot of fun with it.
Sorry about the echo there. Just
No worries.
just
I could hear
working on some
myself there for a
stuff here.
second.
Yeah. No need to panic.
No, no, no.
Yeah.
I'm I'm never panicking.
Yeah. So then I know that it's tough, like, with a seasonal product like yours coming up with, the new lines coming out next year and you got to, put the capital out for that line. Is that kind of what puts you kind of behind the eight ball with 2B?
Um, yeah, after, I mean, I worked 25 years developing the company, and at one point, I found myself in a situation where, we had grown, and to a point where my bank simply wouldn't lend me more money. Uh, with the how do you say, a collateral
Yeah.
that I was able to put up. So I was facing the harsh reality of either just shutting down the operations and doing something else, or bring on board an investor, which I ended up doing. And once you've done that, I mean, I guess it can go different. it can go two ways. It could either be a success story, or in my case, it could be the beginning of the end. So what happened a few years after I brought on board the investor, um, I basically maneuvered myself and was maneuvered into a position where I didn't control the whole company anymore, and I couldn't really control the direction of things, and I lost more and more of my ability to just run the company. And eventually, the investors decided that, well, we don't really need a founder in this anymore, so we're just going to continue without you, which they
Mm,
did, and I couldn't really do much about it.
that's tough.
Yeah, I mean, from a technical point of view, it's all fair and square. They could do it, and they were in their, how to say that, in their rights to do so. So I can't really complain. It is what it is. But yeah, feels on a personal level, obviously, a very tough situation, and something that took me a little bit to took me a little bit of time to get through.
How do you bounce back from that? Was it the support group you have behind yourself? I know that you started the new company with a lot of the OG people that you work with at Tubi.
Yeah, I mean, it was a combination of that. I mean, a couple of guys left after I was fired. That was a huge boost in the, how to say, morale. uh, and then the support from the snowmobile community. I I put out a video in May where I mean, I didn't really have a plan with that. I just wanted to let my friends and the people that I work with so long to know that I'm no longer a part of the company that carried my name, and whatever would happen from here, I don't hold it against me, at least. And the feedback that I got was just amazing. Uh, it's just, I was blown away and very humbled by how people reacted on that. So after, thinking about it for a while and talking about it with my old my old team, we decided to just try something else and try something new.
And how different is it going to be from what 2B was? Is it, I mean, you're still snowmobile clothing, but is there going to be something that sets you apart? Because you are competing with them, correct?
Yeah, yeah, we are. I'm competing with myself, I feel like sometimes. Uh, it's kind of weird still. It's still very weird, to be honest with you. What's going to set us apart? I think a lot of things you're going to recognize, and I think that's by design from us. Uh, there's a few things we simply don't want to change, and we always been, everybody involved with 2B back then was snowmobilers, and we had a huge passion for the sport. So we always try to make everything better. We were always trying to find better materials, find better solutions. And since I basically brought the whole design team with me into Mountain Grit, automatically that makes it that the gear that we are designing is going to carry our signature in terms of how we implement that, how we trained ourselves to make things. So in that sense, people are going to recognize the gear, even though it looks a little bit different, but it's gonna, from a function point of view, no one's gonna be disappointed with the new things we're making. So in that sense, it is gonna be quite similar to what people knew Tubi from. What's gonna be different is a couple of things. Uh, we we spent a lot of time over the summer and well, the spring and summer, to talk about what went wrong and what could have been done differently, and what was the problems with running this type of company, and what was the problem with the snowmobile industry in general, and also what are the opportunities in the snowmobile industry. And we come to realize that when we're starting a new company, we have to build it really make sure that we have a strong foundation. And once we started talking about it as a foundation, a lot of other things kind of fell into place. And eventually we formed this business plan based off of the idea of a foundation. And some of you, or I don't know if you have, but some of the viewers may have seen a video that I made a couple of months back where I was trying to explain the vision with the foundation, which translates into four cornerstones. And these four cornerstones is really what our new company is going to be based on. And I like the idea of these, of having like something very um, looking for a word here, the opposite of abstract.
Just simple. Could be opposite of
Yeah, just
abstract.
well, some right, yes, something very simple to kind of visualize a foundation with, or what the foundation is going to be. So basically, Mountain Grid is based on the first cornerstone, which is going to be quality products. We believe that customers, if you teach your customers to trust whatever you're making, be it snowmobile jackets or tools or whatever, if you make a good quality product, customers are going to keep coming back. And returning customers is key to any business. And we also decided that we wanted a different approach to marketing. The snowmobile community is is a very unique community in my opinion, uh, and I feel like I met snowmobilers from around the world, and everyone is very similar. And it's a nice community where people look after each other, and we're very organized in snowmobile clubs. We look after trails. We take care of each other in the backcountry. We make sure people have avalanche training. So there is a community that looks after each other. So we kind of built our marketing strategy around the fact that snowmobilers are the way they are. So we came up with a strategy that we call pay it forward, which means that we're going to try to reinvest our marketing money into the community and try to do better things with the money than just to give it away to Google and Meta in order to advertise our discount campaigns, because that's essentially what we were doing the last few years with TOBE. So the paid forwards marketing strategy is another one of our cornerstones. And the third cornerstone was to make Mountain Grit community owned. So we have invited basically our customers to own a share of Mountain Grit. And I think that's hugely important, because if we can avoid bringing in um, corporate investors, we can maintain the control of the company, and more importantly, the control of the vision of making quality products and giving back to the community. So by having the community owning a part of the company, we can essentially protect what we believe our customers feel are important.
Right.
So the fourth cornerstone is basically to wrap this up. Like, this is we call it an ecosystem. If we keep doing all these things, if we make quality products, we give back to the community, and we allow our community to be a part of what we do. And if we keep repeating that, this is going to turn into a self-circling ecosystem, is how we call it. So that's our foundation. And this was a very long answer to your question. I'm
Yeah.
sorry about that. But you asked me what was going to be different with Mountain Grit. Yeah, the most important aspect of what's going to make us different is the foundation. This is what we're basing everything off. Then after that comes the products. So we make our snowmobile collection, but we also started working on a workwear collection, which is going to be super exciting. And the workwear collection is pretty important because, like it or not, the snowmobile industry, it's not huge. It is, as you said, we have a very tough competition. It is essentially very difficult to make a living off snowmobile jackets. You need something else. And trying to be true to myself and or true to myself, trying to be honest about who I am and what we do. I don't have a lot of experience in motocross I don't ride motorcycles in the summer. Like I don't do any of that. So I couldn't make a quality motocross pant or a motorcycle jacket, but I do know how to make a quality workwear pant. So we're gonna stick to doing that instead. So that's our off-season product. So the
That's
combination
awesome.
of the snowmobile, yeah, no, I mean, this is a blue collar community. We all know that, and like most of us have a background or a connection with some sort of a blue collar job. So I feel like it's definitely not a far fetched product to add to our snowmobile collection.
No, I think that's a good idea. I think you're right. There's a lot of kind of, you know, if you make a circle diagram, there's a lot of crossover between those two communities. I think people are really about that. And actually, we got a question from the chat kind of related to other products.
All right, I'm gonna
Said
look in a second,
that
see it.
Toby had/has trail gear. Corey knows that your new company's obviously Mountain Grit, but are you going to also maybe get into making trail gear as well?
I hope so. We the first collection that we're putting out now is kind of limited. Like it doesn't cover everything, but the vision is definitely to cover everything that our snowmobiling community is would want to see from us. So part of what we're doing is to try to stay close to the community and allow them to have influence over what we develop. So if we can see an interest, if we when we go out and ask our customers and our followers, what kind of products we should develop, if the answer is uh, you know good, nice quality trail jackets, then definitely if we know how to make them.
Yeah,
Great.
and kind of a good segue from that, talking about customers, is Chris Watson asked, where is your biggest market?
Uh, Traditionally and historically, the biggest market has been North America, obviously. I mean, I started over here in Sweden, but already back in 2004, I think we started picking up customers around the United States and Canada. We had our first distributor a few years later. Uh, and I think, at the end with Tubi, the distribution between our business was probably 80% North America and 20% Scandinavia.
Wow.
And then between trail and mountain, I would say uh, this is a rough estimate, but let's say somewhere between 60, maybe maybe closer to 70% of the business came out of the mountains, and we were trying to grow on on the trail market.
Yeah, that's good. Now I want to circle back to the workwear side of things, though. And just let everybody know that that's really your background. You're a fabricator by trade, are you not?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've zero background in clothing and apparel and designing. I'm colorblind, like medically colorblind. I cannot draw a straight
You
line.
should be telling this.
I know it. I'm okay with telling this because I know I have this amazing guy, Alex, that is my designer, and he knows all this stuff that I don't know. So we're a good team. I contribute with, the snowmobiling aspect of this. He makes sure that like the colors aren't off. We talk about pockets and the snow skirts and little features. That's what we figure out together. So we make a good team, and I have no problem admitting that I'm colorblind.
Now, Tubi also, building on what Corey's question was, Tubi also had hard goods like goggles and things like that. Or do you ever see Mountain Grit getting into that side of things? Or are you going to focus on a segment and just run after it?
Uh, I mean, it depends a little bit. I love products, and I'm a product geek in many ways. So, I mean, it's obviously a lot of fun making goggles and helmets and essentially everything. Plus, for me to, I prefer to wear our own product when I'm riding and not someone else. So, um, I think I think the answer is we have to be able, we have to grow organically and healthy. Like we don't want to grow even if we bring on board investors in the form of our community now. The money that we are raising from our community is mainly supposed to strengthen our balance sheet so that we can finance our production. It is not meant for us to spend on either ourselves or, you know, going completely hog wild on product developments and samples and new developments. Like we have to grow this in an organic and responsible way. Uh, that said, I mean, I'd love to make some goggles. I know we have really good ideas around a lot of these things, and I'd love to be able to start working on that again. But time will tell, and the market will show us what it's willing to absorb.
Right.
So yeah, these loyal customers that we're hoping to create and gradually grow, and like growing circles around each customers that believes in us. They, eventually I think we're gonna have helmets and goggles and just about anything, but at the same time we'll take our time to get there.
Right. That sounds like you're really thinking this through and really taking a kind of a cautious route to deliver the right product to the right people.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, after doing something for 25 years, uh, starting completely over again, I feel like I'm 47 right now. If I'm going to spend another 20 years building a company, I might as well do it right.
Absolutely. Now, one thing I clued in on is you're going to let the customer invest in the company. Uh, Talk to us about that. Like how little of investment
Yeah.
will it require? Or are there going to be package options where, you can have you know, a small
Yeah. So,
investment to a large, or how does that work?
yeah, I mean, so honestly, the thought to do this, I had this idea even back before we brought on board the first investors in TOBE. I think I'm not sure even the regulations existed back then for crowdfunding in the way they do today, and I don't think the platforms and the technology to do it in a simple way existed either. But I always had this idea that if we were able to include the community and involve the community, we would have this stable platform to grow the company from. So now when I, you know, ended up in a situation where we're starting over, and I don't have the capital myself to do it entirely on my own. Uh, that gave us a great opportunity to give this a try. So what we've done over the summer and the fall is that we've gone through the whole process uh, of receiving what's called a Reg C document, which essentially allows us to raise capital through one of the crowdfunding platforms. So we're working with a platform called Dealmaker. So if you go on our website, there will be you can click on a link for invest, and that will bring you over to a platform that is controlled by our partner, our fundraising partner called Dealmaker. So on this platform, we have to comply with the regulations that kind of controls this whole process. And through that platform, we are able to invite like the average snow sledders to own a piece of us. And how it works is that we don't want big investors. We are trying to steer this towards small investors, but we rather have many of them. So you can invest as little as $500, and then obviously upwards. And again, the idea is not to have few big investors. We rather have many small.
Excellent. And where your website address, where do people find it?
Yeah, so you can go on mountaingrit.com, and what you're gonna find is a website that still doesn't contain. We're still working on products. So the first like actual snowmobile suits and jackets and pants are going to be ready for the for everyone to see in sometime in February. But until then, the website is kind of naked. But you can, if you click on invest, it will give you a series of videos that where we are trying to explain the vision with the foundation, the ownership of the community, the paid forward strategy, and eventually, if you find that interesting, you can click your way through the investment process. But yeah, that's going to be on mountaingrit.com.
And then is there dividends paid out, like profit sharing, or what is it? What does it give you? Oh, more than a warm and fuzzy feeling.
Yeah, so, and this is the tricky part. First off, I under this regulate the laws that are regulating this, I have to be very careful with what I'm saying, because uh, the regulation is designed to look after the small investors so that people are not getting scammed. So I'm never going to promise anything. This is a very risky investment. We are a startup, and whether someone would choose to believe in us or not, it's totally up to them. And I should not, and I don't want to either promise anything that I can't that I can't promise or shouldn't promise. But the plan is to make this obviously a profitable investment for both our investors and obviously ourselves. We put in a lot of money, a lot of time in this, and we're going to continue to do so. So obviously we're in the boat together. We hope to make a profitable investment out of this. There's a couple of ways that we could do this. Dividends is what we're looking at as our first goal. We want to make the company profitable and try to grow with profitability, which is very difficult in this industry and this type of product that we're making. But the goal is definitely to build the company in an organic and healthy way and try to keep it profitable all the way and keep the margins and keep the costs down. So the first goal is to make dividends to our investors. Then what happens after that is an open question still. There's a couple of, what do you do with a company after X amount of years? I mean, for me, uh, I I mean, I want to work with this for as long as I can. I don't have an exit plan, and we don't have an exit plan either. I think it is important that when you go into a new company like this, if you shouldn't start a business thinking about um, how should I say this? The healthy way, I believe, when you start a business is to make your business profitable, not how to grow the company so that it looks big, nice, and shiny so someone else will buy it from you. Because if you do that, you're going to start making decisions based off of that. How do you say that? Golden pot at the end of the rainbow. Do you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
that saying? Okay, yeah, you're gonna start chasing that instead of paying attention to what's important right here and right now. I don't know if that made any kind of sense, but I basically don't want to approach this as a big corporate investor would. I want to build a stable, profitable business as step one, and I think that's going to have to be the most important thing.
Yeah, and your track record, not to delve back in, but what kind of numbers was TOBE pulling with your influence on that? Like it's not like you left a company that went under. You left a very powerful company that was profitable and building great products and doing great things. Um,
Yeah, yes and no. We were not profitable. We were a company chasing that golden pot. We were
ah,
trying to grow faster and growing bigger, and I think that created an unhealthy business culture that I don't want to be a part of anymore.
Yeah, that makes sense, right? And Ron Kesselut, he actually echoed what I said. You may be a startup, but you were the innovator of TOBE, and I think that's, you know, having that on your resume, it takes a little bit of the risk out of it because this isn't your first rodeo.
No, no, definitely not. And he is right in a way, but still, I want to be cautious about. Um, yeah, I still want to talk about it as a startup because I don't want to make any false uh, create any false expectation in us. But yes, we know how to do this, and we know how to make quality products. We know, where to find the good suppliers. We know how to distribute our products. We know a lot of things that we shouldn't be doing, so we're going to try to avoid that, and definitely have some experience in making mistakes that we're not going to repeat. So yeah, I think there's a fair chance that we're going to make something really good out of this.
Yeah, very cool. Listen, we're going to do a roll call right now and to just say, speaking of great people, Drew's going to go over and say
Yeah.
who's all in the chat right now. And then we've got a little sponsor ad we got to put up here and away we go.
Yeah. I think, hold on. I think, remember how we do this last week? I remember this. Now I don't have to go through. I can do the list in order of who the top commenter is as well. So far in the chat, we got SM158th. A crazy way of doing Smith. Reichson Kit 22. Oh, these are two names I don't know if I recognize.
Yeah,
Reichson's been
he's
in
a big fan. Yeah. He's an OG MUDBRATS
wow.
fan. Yeah.
Okay, Elder Santos, of course. Yeah, as always. Renegade X, another familiar name. Craig Dean 9279. We got Iron Moose in the chat. Rob Overholt. Josh Harnett, Mike Goulies was in the chat talking about he's gotten Chris Ledger's doing his track right now. He's getting another track put on his 900. LaPointe's $800 in the chat as always. IGU88's a familiar one. Just Fly Low, who I've missed the past few weeks because his comments just seem to slip through the cracks. Jacob Massart just popped in. They were studying
Wiscos?
No, the Yamaha.
Yeah.
He just said
Justin,
they put
Pincher.
180 studs in a 1.5 ripsaw for pin charts, and I'm pretty sure that was a short track as well. Like
yeah,
a
it was. Yeah,
129
it's a fast track, and they did 4 per window. They did fast track studs
I
with
saw-
green.
Yeah, he
backers.
sent me the video of
Looks great.
Pinchy putting the studs in, using the right tools as well, using all
And
red
thank
Milwaukee.
you for choosing fast track studs for those
Yes,
two
thank you.
guys.
Yeah,
Awesome.
you'll have no issues, and they're using the correct tools to put it in, so you'll never have anything happen. Michael DeJulio's in the chat here. Outdoor Hobby Guys, always. Uncle Buck 9774. Chris Watson, he was talking about he did 5 kilometers so far up and down his driveway.
We got some photos from Chris in the house tonight too.
Nice. Corey Brock, who was just actually out this morning, doing a shakedown on his wife's
250K or something. That's
on his wife's
insane.
Enduro. Corey, put in the chat, what is the Enduro like with that air ride suspension? Is it how does it compare to Smart Shocks? Is it like on a couch? Is it is it rough over the bumps? Like I actually want to know there. We also got Ron Castello in the chat, and then I've been throwing my comments in there as well.
That's cool. Thanks for everybody here. Let's just run right there. Tired of dealing with worn out carbides and scratchers that just won't scratch your itch? You deserve better. It's time to upgrade your ride with Quali Pieces. Quali Pieces is the leader in specialized snowmobile accessories, bringing you innovative products that solve the everyday problems we all face on the trails. From their durable, long-lasting carbides, Trailblazer ice scratchers, to their ingenious roller ski, Quali Pieces has redefined quality and performance. Have a taste of their specialized carbides at qualipieces.com and take your snowmobile to the next level. Right on. And Massart says it's a local company for us. And you know what? Don't forget,
That was Quali Piece. We ran the wrong ad.
Fast Track Studs. Fast Track Studs printed their shirts for Heydays for the last 2 years. So
we should
that's
get one
pretty
up on-
awesome.
Oh, there's one over there.
There's one.
You gotta
over
get
there.
up on the wall.
You guys have seen it. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, a lot of people in the chat tonight. Popular guests here. We're sitting down with Tomas Berntsson, formerly of TOBE, now with Mountain Grit, and he's sharing quite the vision that he has with the company to going on. Do you want to get into the photos that you sent now? Is it a good time, or do you have anything else to add to what we were talking about?
No, let's do it.
You want to do the photos? Well, we got one more ad to play then if we're going to do that. So let's go on that and we'll get the photos up. Fan photos are brought to you by Fast Track Snowmobile Traction. This season, quit sliding sideways on the ice and losing races to your buddies. A Fast Track stud kit will help you with improved braking and give you the arm-ripping acceleration you crave. I put over 3,000 clicks last season on my Renegade 850, and I'll tell you, these studs exceeded my expectations. Not one broken stud, my idler wheels still look like new, and they hooked up like I was on rails in the twisties, inspiring confidence every ride. Fast Track Top Gun kits are the highest rated stud kit at 4.9 stars with over 230 reviews. The studs are heat treated stainless so they are strong and they don't rust. The kit is lighter, easier on the track, and has a lifetime warranty against breaking. Each kit comes with a track specific template for complete balance with over double the scratch lines from stock templates. All listeners when purchasing a stud kit can get a free install kit, a $30 value. Visit fasttrack.co, add both products to the cart, and use the coupon code SNOW at the checkout. That's fasttrac.co. Right on. And I was laughing while I was watching that spot because that's my old house and my old garage, and I'm in the garage freezing in a snowmobile jacket,
Probably
trying to stud that track, probably busting my knuckles in the cold. And I was saying to Drew last night, he worked, and I was just walking out in my shop now, and it's like I'm in my t-shirt, and I started just messing around with the sled and looking at the battery terminals and the ground where it connects underneath the gas tank. And before you know it, I started working away, and then I flipped the heater on and the big furnace and set her to 10 degrees. And I'm in Crocs out in the shop, and I didn't rear my head back into the house till around 7 or 7:30 at night, just loving the heck out of it, just out there like this. I'd never do that in minus 20 in my old shop. That's for sure.
No.
So
I was telling a friend of mine the other day, because they just him and his dad just picked up a new sled, and he was talking about studying it, and he said something about studying a track and out what's the process, and I said the process isn't bad, but there was something that's special about doing a track. I said it's one of my favorite things to do, because the first time I ever studied my own track, it had to have been minus 30 ambient outside. Our garage was probably at best minus 15 with the propane heater we were running. We were all bundled up in jackets, and you're running the corded drill, studding the track, you're having beers, having a laugh, and there's nothing better than accidentally putting your hand under the rubber and putting it through, and I had the bit go right onto my finger, and it's like, my hand was so cold, I didn't even realize it happened until like a few minutes later. I looked down, and my whole hand is just red. Like, remember I went inside the house, bandaged up, came back out? Oh, yes, and I had a burn mark on my middle finger for the rest of the season too, but it's like...
Yeah, it's so funny. It's such a different mentality now, and before
I'm gonna go work. I was gonna wait till the spring to work on my dirt bike. I might be doing a full rebuild on that this winter. Like at this point, with how warm that garage is.
Yeah, Massart says, "I know how you feel, Gary." LOL.
Oh man, I get it now. That's why people like working on their stuff.
I know. Well, and that's the thing. It's like we've got it cleaned up enough that we got both dirt bikes in there and the sled.
It's pretty
and
sweet.
It's one of those things where before we had to, at the end of the night, I'd have to pull the sled in another spot and then put a car in, and then the next day the floor's all wet. And today it's like there's no car ever going to go in there.
Well, that's just because you tell me my car won't fit, which is weird because it sure fits on the other side of the garage just fine. I'm pretty sure I grabbed a measuring tape and they're the same size.
Yeah. A friend of mine once said, once you park a car in there, that ruins the whole garage.
Yeah.
Right.
No doubt.
So no, it's going to be great. I to the point where I was meaning to video the work I was doing, and I didn't even get the camera out because I just got tinkering away, and it was like, before you know it, time.
So yeah, there'll be no video on how to change a starter on a 850.
There will be.
I went out there at 7 o'clock in the morning after work and all that, and thinking, oh, maybe I can come out here and see where he's at, and he had like one bolt left.
I had to leave Drew something.
Yeah.
Right. I'll leave you one bolt.
I'll put it back together. I'll put it back together.
Yeah.
When I get home from work tomorrow.
All right. It's one of those things where we take the hood off, and you can go on that picture. Okay. We take the hood off, and it's like I've done it so often. It's like boom, 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 boom. Oh yeah, undo the
We
airbox
had
clamp and
the season. We had your last Gen 5. I think I said I became a professional at taking the hoods off of skidoos because my sled, between all the accessories I put on, we'd put an accessory on, put it all back together, and then get another accessory a week later, put it on, take it all back together. And then when we got your Gen 5, your accessory line, remember we were in the parking lot, of Halliburton Forest, ready to go. We were riding down the trail. You realized none of your accessories were working on your new sled.
yeah.
And we pull back to the truck, and it is like minus 25. And I think I got the hood off that Gen 5 and got it back together in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, the dealer put E-Link on and didn't plug in didn't plug it in.
Visor.
It was actually still zip tied around the post, so it was like, oh man, my visor fogging up. I can't do this.
You didn't have E-Link or the signal lights. Yeah. You didn't have anything. I noticed that when I looked behind you and I realized that your lights were on. I said, okay, the accessories aren't hooked up.
Yeah, there you go.
But
so Chris Watson sent in some pictures. He says, hey there, Gary and Drew. Here on the lakes, the sledding season has begun with the Ski-Doo maintenance day and some hot dogs. And
Ski-Doo maintenance. You read that right? Ski-Doo maintenance. I don't know that one.
Ski-Doo maintenance, yeah. Look at that.
It's a 4-stroke.
I think he's faking it. He's probably cooking hot dogs on the.
He's got his muff pot going right now. Yeah. Oh,
Thomas, you said you started as a trail rider too, didn't you? Is that what you told me off air?
Yeah, I in a way, where I live, we don't have like the Rockies. It's not as crazy as the Rockies, but it's also not as, we don't have the big wide open trails either. So our trail system would be mostly like very beaten single track, barely maintained trails. So lots of enduro riding basically. And then our mountain riding is also not very far away. I have really good riding just an hour away. And so that would be very steep and technical, lots of trees. And then you do get into the alpine with some features. So we get a good mix of everything. But I definitely started out riding trails here.
Oh, that's great. And the trails are not groomed over there. Is that true? Like, is that?
Because that was the thing when they brought Lynx over to North America. The whole thing with the Rave is that it's meant to be ridden on a bumpy trail because the maintenance is sometimes lacking in the Scandinavian countries.
Yeah, there are areas where they do maintain the trails like really nicely with groomers and everything. But it wouldn't be like the default situation. Like the snowmobile trails are usually like very narrow and mostly like barely maintained. So yes, the Lynx made a lot of sense over here back then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ron Keslu says, what do you ride?
Oh, I've been on every brand you can imagine, like all of them. I started out with a lot of Lynx sleds, and I do have a lot of passion for that, like the early race sleds from the 90s and early 2000. But I owned a lot of Skidoos. I owned Arctic Cats. Even owned a 4-stroke. uh, uh, I got a Facer that I turboed, but I did end up buying another Rev halfway through that season. So that was my one experience with that. Right now I'm on Polaris, but I want to say I'm not, and I have been for many years. But I just like how they ride, but I'm not brand loyal by any means. If someone else puts out something that I like better, I'm gonna change in a heartbeat.
Is it what is it? Is it a boost or a 9R or just a regular 800, 850?
No, I'm on a 9R right now, and I just went from a 155 to a 146.
Nice.
Just to have some more fun with it.
Yes.
Terrain here is, yeah, definitely. Yeah, you sometimes you need a 155, but more so, you'll get by with a 146. It makes it more challenging, at least.
Yeah, for sure. Elder Santos says heat is everything, including your sanity. And thank you, Elder. He was texting me last night and giving me some tips as I was going through things and having a chat. So I was supposed to ride with him yesterday, and I just didn't get it running in time. So yeah. But he was helping me out throughout, giving me some advice on that. But Drew, look at the shop here that we're looking at right now. Like that is what my garage wants to be when it grows up, right there. You know, it looks warm, it's clean, everything's put in its place, everything has its place, and everything is a place for anything, right? Really like that. So go to the next one there. That's the trail ride. They got lots of snow. That's about what we're looking at here as well. You know, about 10 inches, 11 inches of snow. I always said that when in our old place, when the snow got to the top of the fire pit, we had a fire ring in our backyard that the groomer would be out. So trails would be opening. And it is at the top of the fire ring right now. And my old club started grooming tonight, and they're going to be grooming all day tomorrow. Supposed to be getting some rain coming in Thursday, but I'm hoping that doesn't, you know, harm the trails too much, but we'll see what happens. And those hot dogs and chili look great.
I think it's just chili in a bun. They're just happen to be using hot dog buns.
Yeah, it said hot dogs, so there's probably wieners somewhere. And then this is Sky, his little ball of energy. And kudos to the little MUDBRATS sticker on the seat there. Thanks for putting that on there. That's awesome. Cute little dog, though. Are you going to do some dog sled racing with it? Looks like the ones from the Sepola.
Oh yeah,
that we had on. Looks very much like one of those sled dogs. That's very cool. Now we're getting into Tomas's pictures here. But here we go. What are we looking at?
It's a bun holder for the hot dogs from before.
Exactly. Now, if you ever ridden the 90s snowmobile, early 2000, you'll remember how the running boards had zero traction. So this is my one of my very first products. This is that running board reinforcement slash traction system that I invented and manufactured for a while. So yeah, that's my first product.
Very cool. And what did it fit?
I made them for essentially every sled on the market back then. I can't even remember how many models that I had, but I don't know. Yeah, I had one for everything.
Was that like a small, a small market, like just for buddies, or did you sell this like nationally or globally?
Not globally, but definitely nationally. I made thousands of these, so
Cool.
they were pretty popular back then. And you know, it was pretty much needed, at least if you wanted to stay on your sled and not just get, just not fall off all the time.
Well, it looks like if you think about the F chassis and the the original Summits, they had a fairly solid running board, and this would clear snow a lot easier, and like I said, you wouldn't be slipping off of it.
No, because they barely had any like dimples put in them at all. I remember that on your old Formula, or even the early 1000s stuff. It was like just basically flat metal with maybe a couple marks, and it's more there's not like the snow couldn't exit the running board, which is still an issue with sleds now to a certain extent.
Yeah,
not naming any brands.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great photo.
That is that picture is 2001 Lynx. If you look closely. So that's the cover of my very first catalog. That sled was very beat up, but it was brand new that season. But it was holding together with duct tape and zip ties.
Well, that's all in the marketing budget. So
That's right.
okay.
That's right. Now you kind of changed the way people were marketing clothing back in the day as well. Like I just did the little bit of research I've done before the show.
You did research for one of our podcasts?
With this guy, I had to. This
wow.
This guy's a big deal for me. But the like other where people were dumping money into other forms of advertising, you kind of started with coming out with your own magazine. You know what I mean? Like where does that type of thinking come from?
Uh, well, the magazine was came from a first off, it came from me not having a big enough marketing budget to put ads in every snowmobile magazine where I wanted to advertise. So that was the first issue. The second issue, or sorry, the second thing was that my designer back then was also a magazine editor. So he put out this very fancy free, like yeah, they gave it away. Ski Town magazine that would look awesome. So I was usually inspired by that. And then I had this amazing photographer, Hans Verdell, that I worked with for many years. So we had all these pictures. We had a small marketing budget that we realized if we spent it on our own magazine instead of, placing small ads everywhere and then just handed it out for free, then we could get so much more attention with our marketing money. So we started playing around with that idea. And I think if you switch to the next picture, okay, no, that's the inside of the first magazine. Lots of lots of attitude and duct tape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And water apparently as
I-
well.
Yeah.
When you first started, so this is your first magazine and early on in the company.
No. This is just the first catalog.
Oh, okay.
So this is like a 6-page catalog only.
I got you. Yeah, yeah. But
What you see in the background there is my that would be the workbench from my garage.
oh, is that right?
Oh, yeah, yeah. 'Cause,
Yeah,
the
behind
coffee
everything.
cut, yeah.
That's kind of cool.
But you actually put everything on the plugs and everything. That's cool.
Very cool. How many, when you launched TOBE, first off, like, what was the decision to use the name TOBE? I know it's your initials, but how did that come about?
Oh yeah. I I was just trying to find a name, and I think it was my wife that started calling it 2B, and then it kind of stuck with us. And always try to come up with something to add to it. We called it 2B Technology for a while, and then 2B Outerwear. But I don't know. It's always been just 2B, and I was we try to disconnect it from my name quite early on, and I always been a little bit embarrassed by naming the company after myself. That was really never really my intention to do that. I'm not that self-centered. I like to think so, at least. Uh, so yeah.
And
It
then
was just a
when you
coincidence.
get
Just
into
happened.
today, like fast forward to today, like now it's all in the hey, can I get a URL for this name? Can I get a name that's not trademark? Can I get, you know what I mean? Is
Oh,
how hard was Mountain Grit to actually land on?
yeah, that is the first URL that I ever purchased. I paid money for, because it wasn't taken, but it was someone owned it that wasn't using it. So yeah, we had to buy that. That was pretty crazy. But that's how it is today.
It
Like
is.
finding a 4-letter word is practically impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah, domain
So
squatters. They're hoping that at some point someone needs those 4 letters either as an abbreviation or, well, I guess your name's first 2 initials of first and last name. But
Yeah. I do like the name Mountain Grit. I think
the
it's
Mountain Grit's a great
think-
name
yeah.
for a like a outerwear that'll work both for your outerwear collection and even when you start doing workwear. Like I think it still applies because it shows that it's been proven and tested by in the toughest conditions on the planet, which is backcountry snowmobiling,
Yeah.
hands down, right? In
Yeah.
the mountains.
yeah, well, you're spot on. It's exactly what we were thinking.
Get to the next
It's
one.
hard to find anyone beating up gear faster and worse than snowmobilers.
Yeah.
It's very true. Anything,
They're
whether sleds, gear, whatever,
It's the
clothing.
You're running a machine in the coldest conditions. Everybody, like, think about your car. Your car hates starting in the morning, yet you're gonna go take a snowmobile, small compact 2-stroke or 4-stroke engine with 180 horsepower, 10,000 feet up in the air where it's struggling for oxygen and you're bouncing off trees, launching it into deep snow. Like it's insane. And the gear has to hold up to that as well, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean the conditions are brutal, and but even worse, the expectations are brutal on the gear. Well, the jackets, the pants, the snowmobile, all the equipment. Like people's expectations are, well, our expectation is, yeah. I mean, I don't know any other industry where people beat up their equipment as bad as we do.
Oh, for sure.
so are these some of the those other magazines, the later ones you were talking about before?
Yeah, our catalogs actually kind of turned into magazines where the catalog would be incorporated in the magazine, and then we printed them and gave them out. So that would be four of the magazines that we made. And they were like 100-page magazines, like very nice pictures, glossy paper. And we quite early decided that the way we wanted to promote our products was by basically selling the dream. So we would write, whereas most other snowmobile magazines at the time would only write about like technical features of snowmobiles and maybe the race results from last weekend, we would go on trips, we would explore destinations that a lot of people never been to or destinations that people were dreaming of going to. So we were placing our products into these dream scenarios and basically sold people on the dream of someday going there. So yeah, I it created a concept that I really liked, and it kind of really shaped the way we started designing our products to both look and how they performed to, earn its place in these you know, dream scenarios, basically, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool. And when you say you gave them away for free, like where did you hand these out? Were they at mountain lodges and dealerships, or where did people get their hands on these magazines?
Yeah, definitely all the mountain lodges. We were doing a lot of trade shows back then, giving the magazines out. I think once or twice we hired Snow West to print the magazine for us, and they actually helped us distribute it to their readers. So that I think the last time we made it, we printed some 45,000 copies and sent out to, well, all across the United States and Canada.
Wow.
So the
That's a
side
lot.
effect,
Yeah.
yeah, so the side effect of making this magazine was that all of a sudden I had the best excuse ever to travel for snowmobiling, like around everywhere. Uh, this is a very famous spot, basically on the backside of Whistler, BC. So beautiful, beautiful scenario, amazing snowmobiling, and today a lot of people have been there. And 2005 or whenever we printed this, there weren't a lot of snowmobile tourists that had been in that same area. A lot of, like, obviously the locals were there all the time, but I feel like we got to experience a lot of places around the world where, most tourists would never be able to go.
So actually, I have a side question to that. Did the locals not like you guys then because you were giving away all the honey holes?
Oh, no, no,
Did you ever hear anything
we
about
were,
that?
I mean, I never experienced that anyone thought about it that way. I'm sure sure someone thought about it that way, but we were mostly with some locals when we traveled. We never went anywhere just by ourselves, and we never made a point out of trying to ruin anything for anyone. So I I'd like to believe at least that we treated the invites that we received and the opportunities that we got very respectfully. But I don't know. Maybe there's someone in the chat that remembers this. It's like,
I don't
No,
think
I just I
oh,
it's something that comes to mind because there was I'm sure you're familiar with Muskoka Freerider, the YouTuber. when
Yeah,
he
yeah,
first
yeah.
started riding in Revelstoke, it was like pitchforks coming after him because he would film and show coordinates of all the different spots and the names of all the different hills and where to go if you want to try this type of riding. And all the locals absolutely hated him when he first started on YouTube. And I just didn't know if your
Yeah.
magazine, maybe it was early enough where mountain riding was still, it's a huge industry now, but it wasn't as big, 20, 30 years ago. So maybe it wasn't that big of an issue. But maybe it's more of
Yeah.
an issue now in the modern era of people with no respect, basically. So
And social media makes everything go wildfire,
Yeah.
right? But did you ever
Yeah.
feel like you're
It's
getting lost out there, Thomas?
no, I was always with the most amazing locals ever. So yeah, no, this is such a long time ago, and yes, I'm aware of how this is. This would be a little different doing today, I think, than back then. The snowmobile tourism was certainly, or it's definitely not the same thing. Even Revelstoke was, fairly quiet from a tourist perspective. This is before they ever built the ski hill. So there was us and this handful of, people from elsewhere riding. Certainly not the first ones, obviously, but there was not a lot of tourists. So I don't think we were a huge problem to the locals the same way us tourists are today.
Oh, for
I
sure.
would
No,
imagine.
the reason I asked about getting lost is because, when you're out on the trails, connection matters, and that's where the trail link comes in. The off-grid buddy tracking system that keeps your group connected, even when cell service can't. Quickly find and notify your crew if you need help with long-range performance up to 10 kilometers on open ice and 1 to 2 kilometers through hills and trees. It's built on a mesh network that links up to 20 riders with long-lasting battery and a bright display showing group connection and alerts. TrailLink keeps you connected when it matters most. TrailLink, no one left behind. And go on traillink.ca, trailink.ca, and use the coupon code SNOWBRATS, SNOWBRATS, and get 25% off. And hurry up, Christmas is coming, and you can get them for the new year. There we go. Had to throw that
There
one
you
in
go.
there.
That's a good one. No, it is important.
It
That's
is, for
definitely
sure.
important.
yeah, so what
Yeah,
have we
like
got?
the road trip in BC,
Oh.
like these little things, Revelstoke to Whistler, and it's you got Drew's attention there, and he was like, "Whoa, like that is right." Like Revelstoke was nothing, and then people started finding it, and the ski hill came up, and then snowmobiling, and now Revelstoke. We just had Mama Gids on last week, and she was saying that it's basically a zoo in Revelstoke.
They see upwards of 35,000 sleds during the main season. So December through February, or December through March, they see 35,000 sleds go up and down from base camp,
Yeah.
which is absurd.
I think it was a little different back then than when we started going.
Yeah, yeah. What's your favorite memories? Like, where's been the best place or the most memorable place you've ridden?
Uh, I mean, I always been a big fan of going to unique places, and uh, BC and I mean, I have so many memories from BC in general and Revelstoke in particular. So I mean, that has to be up there, obviously. But I've been fortunate to go to a couple of odd places. So I think maybe my two favorite snowmobile trips have been actually in Europe, believe it or not, Central Europe, which is really rare because we mostly just snowmobile up here in Scandinavia. So, but there are a couple of hidden places around Europe where you can snowmobile. So we went on I think it was like a 48-hour nonstop drive to Spain and a little tiny one of those miniature countries called that are, you know, not common but exists in Europe. So this place is like 50 kilometers across and it's called Andorra. It's right on the border between Spain and France in the Pyrenees. and they have huge mountains. Some years, amazing snow, and we happened to be there on this one year when snow was really deep and really good. And we were, I feel like the first Scandinavian snowmobile tourists, at least, going there. So it was like a big deal, and the locals were amazing, throwing barbecue parties for us and showed us around. Then we had a similar trip to Italy a few years later, kind of same thing. One of those hidden little places where you can't snowmobile in Italy in general, but this one town that we went to actually allows it. So we were able to snowmobile in the Alps and stay in this amazing, adorable little Italian town during that week, and eating amazing food and hanging out with the locals that we couldn't talk to and communicate with other than speaking two-stroke brap and explaining how our sleds ran because they wouldn't speak English. So yeah, I long answer again, but yeah, I think that's my two favorite trips ever because they were so different from anything else I've ever been to.
Right on. Well, that's the thing. I love
You
hearing.
wouldn't you never think between Spain and France to go riding mountain sleds. That's just cool to hear about all these different little spots around the world. Like it was last winter I saw videos of late in the season of people riding in Japan, and that's another spot I never even ever crossed my mind that snowmobiling is a thing. But there's mountains there, you just don't ever think about it, right? And it's
Yeah,
just kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, Bill McCleary says Andorra. That's the region.
that is the country. It is its own little tiny country, believe it or not. But it's yeah, it's super wealthy. It's like a tax haven, and it's like 2 hours north of Barcelona in Spain, so you can be on the
Hmm.
beach and in the mountains on the same day.
Wow. That's very cool.
Tax. So it's like Monaco, but for
Yeah.
mountains.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Oh yeah, that's the suit that started everything.
Right on.
This is from our 2007 catalog, probably. So this would be a couple of years before the general public saw the first like technical one-piece suits in the stores. This is the one that we made only to, I just wanted to get some attention and figured that a one-piece suit would probably, be offensive to some people, which it was, but it also sold really well, which I never thought it would. So yeah, that's what kickstarted all of it.
And what are some of the features of this? I see some really huge vents, and it looks like the arms are a little extra long. I guess that's for the purpose of your reach and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, yes, and it was pretty baggy. I wanted it to have like a cool snowboardish look. And like you said, there's the two big vents on the chest. It essentially had very much the same features as the suits have today. Like honestly, not very much have changed. The one thing that we did that we kind of regretted a little bit afterwards, that we put in suspenders in them, and we talked about that as almost a little mistake that we made because we just wanted to add them in so people would feel like they had the ability to adjust things. But the problem is if you start tightening these suspenders, you create this muffin top. So we always try to make it really difficult to tighten your suspenders the way some people feel like they want to. So the suspenders to me is more of a problem than a solution to anything. So we joke about how that was a mistake that made people expect suspenders in the suit, and now we're stuck with making suspenders even if we feel like we shouldn't.
And that's so funny because if you look at some of the competing brands, they all have suspenders, and you know, and it was one of those things that you regret, and they copied it.
I know.
It's like
Yeah. I mean, we're stuck doing suspenders too, but we're we're trying to make it difficult for people to hold them up too high because they don't realize how that creates that muffin top that you know, no, we do spend a lot of time on trying to prevent people from looking like,
That's
yeah, something.
hilarious.
Yeah, you know, the last thing you want for your new clothing brand is people to look lame in it.
Yeah. But
Right.
that's the thing. Your when you look at the fashion from back in that era, it was all the baggy. I think you had it in your
It was
that very first picture.
the
It
guy
was,
on the railway tracks. It was all baggy stuff. That's still the
yeah.
snowboard style even to this day. You're kind of a
Yeah.
Gary if
Yeah.
you're not wearing baggy snowboard pants.
And-
I even kind of do that too.
Uh-huh.
I say that too. I wear sweatshirts and coats a size too big on the slopes because I just the mid thousands, like, you know, borders like Shaun White and all of that, and you want to
Oh
look
yeah.
like the cool guys, right?
Hmm.
Is that, were you finding in the mountain world, is that what a lot of people were wearing to go riding their sleds? Is because traditional snowmobile gear was too warm, so they'd go in a lighter weight snowboarding outfit or skiing outfit to ride their sleds in the mountain? Is that kind of how your clothing line kind of developed?
Mind you, I grew up in a much different place. I grew up in Sweden, and the the backcountry, well, snowmobiling existed on the racetracks. We had a lot of that, and then we had people like my dad who would go on the ice and just fish or hold firewood home. Like it was like a utility sled. So we don't had trail riding in the same sense. So when the first snowmobile movies came out, like the whole backcountry scene sort of developed very quickly, and the average snowmobilers were very young, like in their early 20s. Like you're old if you're 25. So when I came to Idaho, I remember the first time in 2005, I expected to see the same like teenagers on snowmobiles, only to realize that everybody was in my, not everyone, but a lot of them were in my dad's age, wearing like these motorcycle suits, like very thick, heavily armored, not very thin and snowboardish as the way I was used to seeing people. So completely different demographic snowmobile crowd that I saw there for the first time. Uh, Sorry, I almost forgot what the question was.
No, that's fine. And what's your opinion on, I mean, you see a lot of different insulation that's in snowmobile gear right now. What's your theory on different things? Like what are some of the ones that Columbia uses and some of the brands,
Oh, like all the
like dry core or dry tech and
or
like
the scam of Gore-Tex.
Gore-Tex, like where are you going to play in that area? Like, have you got your own thinking and development on your own line of insulation, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I struggled honestly a little bit with this when we first started researching the trail market to try to understand how can we compete on the same level as the really good brands that are recognized and appreciated by the trail riders. Like how do we approach this? So our whole experience and our the knowledge and what we do is really working with the outer shell, protecting and then working our way inwards in layers. So to make an insulated, very warm jacket or a bib, it really forced us to start thinking differently, but and start learning about different insulation technologies and just uh, wrapping our head around the fact that people would prefer to actually have all that insulation stuck inside their jacket instead of having it on their body in layers that you could peel off as the day would get warmer or the conditions would getting colder, and you just simply add more layers. So because that is my default way of thinking about gear and how to deal with different conditions. And mind you, I live in northern Sweden, and we're like 4 hours away from the North Atlantic, so we do get some really, really bad weather here. But um, it's also a mixed bag of weather where we do get the seriously cold days, and then we get the occasional like warm day in the middle of that. So I'm used to dressing in layers, is what I'm trying to explain. So when we first started approaching the idea of designing trail gear, uh, I think my thinking still is to start everything with a shell that protects you from the environment outside. And the shell is designed to block wind, to block water, but still allow moisture from your body to escape to the outside. So that has always been our first, priority. And then as we started adding insulation to that, our what we focused on is trying to find types of insulation that wouldn't block your like the water vapor from your body and trap that inside your suit. So that has been our priority, to find that the best wicking, the most wicking kind of insulation, because we believe that getting the moisture away from you is what's going to keep you warm, and also making sure that the wind can't get through your shell. That way you're not replacing the warm air inside your jacket with new cold air. So maybe that's a different approach to this. I don't know. That's just how we started this and how we kept thinking about trail gear. So when we get into different types of insulation, I could talk for hours about how different brands would treat moisture, but yeah, I don't know if that if that makes sense from like a brand perspective. I don't want to talk about brands of insulation, I guess, in that way.
No, that makes total sense. And when you launch, you said that in February you're hoping to have your line launch or some clothing options to available for people to purchase. Like, is gloves going to be part of that to start out, or what are you thinking as far as the initial lineup looks like?
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, we started working on gloves right away this summer. So we do have first set of samples already finished. And so yes, gloves are going to be there.
Right on. And distribution wise, like your um, you know, overseas from us, like is North America where you're launching? Are you going to launch globally to start out? What's that look like?
Yeah, so Mountain Grit, the company is Mountain Grit Corporation, and it is a US based company. So if you're investing in the company, you're owning a piece of a US company. Uh, we we're going to be setting up our own distribution, and again, uh, we're trying to figure out if there's going to be a separate warehouse for Canada and a separate warehouse for the United States or not, or if we are able to combine it. That's still like an open question. Uh, but and we're going to be working with both retailers as well as end consumers directly through our site. But yeah, it's all about treating everybody equally and giving everybody a fair chance of buying our products, where regardless of where they live. But if dealers are interested in picking us up there, that's definitely possible, and we'd love to continue working with the many dealers that we developed relationships with over the years.
Mhm. And because you're global to the United States, and we in Canada are not part of the United States, I have to ask this question because I'm sure it'll come up. Is the product in the United States going to be affected by a tariff increase when imported?
Uh, yeah, I mean, it's same as for everybody else. I don't think there's anyone that gets around that. So the answer would be yes. But what that looks like in September, then yeah, who knows? So we'll see.
Yeah, yeah, because it does, you don't know.
Yeah, hopefully that'll level itself out. It's causing a lot of havoc. I think globally. It's not just Canada that's affected by it by any means. They're
I
doing it to themselves in the US as well. So
it's awful when you are reading. I was reading this one forum post of a guy, backwoods bumpers. He ordered a front and backwoods bumper in August. He pre-ordered their new model for his 26 shredder, and when he got it at his house, it pretty much was double what he was supposed to pay. It was like whatever his order was, 800 Canadian. It went like well over $1,600 or $1,700 when it finally got to his front door. And it's I just wanted to make sure, ask you that question, just so your consumers in the United States are aware that that'll happen, because it's coming from you to them, and there's a imposed tariff on that both ways. So
is it manufactured in the US, or is it manufactured right in your neck of the woods?
Our technical apparel is manufactured in Vietnam, and most of these, most of the brands, like we're in the same factory as a couple of others, pretty well-known snowmobile brands.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, there's a handful of factories that deliver the type of quality that we need for this project. So the options are very limited.
Right on.
And they do
Chris,
have to comply with a lot of different certifications in order to be able to, build this type of products and use the type of materials we're buying.
that's true. Chris Watson says when he rides, staying dry is an issue. He sweats on the shoulder blades.
Yeah. Um, I would assume that he doesn't sweat more than other people on the shoulder blades in general, but the fact that he does get wet on the back and on the shoulder blade is probably I would assume is caused by poor ventilation, and poor ventilation can be either by dressing too warm or not opening up the vents, or simply having a membrane that is not allowing sweat to escape the way it's supposed to. So it could be either of those or a combination of all of it. But as a lot of snowmobilers, we talked about the extreme conditions. Like, there's not many sports where you go from like absolute maximum pulse and sweating like nothing else to sitting around in the cold, or even being hurt by yourself on the ground under a tree somewhere. So I mean, we really expose ourselves to conditions that most people wouldn't even dream of. And this is why I think dressing properly and being mindful about what you're wearing, like not just the membrane itself and the outer shell, but also how you dress in base layers, wearing, not wearing cotton next to your skin, wearing something that wicks away the moisture, that helps you stay dry, in case of an accident, or in these extreme conditions that we're talking about. So yeah, my advice would maybe to kind of go over his wardrobe and kind of think through what he wears and how he dresses, and what the different materials are doing when they're combined. Uh, our ambition is to be shipping out of Canada to Canadian customers, or through some sort of a bonded warehouse where the products are kept in, so to say, a neutral space until they're shipped either to the United States or to Canada, so that no one gets affected by tariffs that shouldn't be affected by tariffs.
And that's the thing. Like I said before, this isn't your first kick at the can. You must have a lot of this distribution and logistics figured out from the past.
Yeah, now that when you say it, that's true. A lot of these things we've been through before, and a lot of these things we talked about many times before. So yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's where becoming an investor in something like this, to see the company succeed and flourish, and you've got a proven, you've got a proven strategy and suppliers and like you said, you can lean on some of your existing retailers that you've dealt with in the past, and I can't see this thing failing. I think you've got a really great name. You've got a great vision with the 4 pillars of the company. Um, I think it's awesome, Thomas.
Yeah, well, I obviously share that. I think the same way, but I mean, we'll have to wait and see. I think we're onto something, and I firmly believe that if we do this just cautiously and the right way, we can hopefully grow into something big.
Excellent. And now you can click that next one there.
Oh, yeah, this is a couple of days after picking up a absolutely brand new 28-foot trailer. We started tearing it apart the same day. So, what this is outside our first office in Denver, in the parking lot outside. And what happened was that I went to a big snow show called SIA the year before, and ran into a snowboard company or a splitboard company that called Weston, and they had a beautiful tiny home that they towed around in different parking lots, and they used the tiny home as their mobile showroom. And I thought that was awesome. I loved everything about it. Like, it was beautiful. It was wooden. It had a wood stove in it, and like the vibe was amazing. So I wanted the same thing. So the next year I came back, flew into Denver, the same afternoon, picked up a new trailer, took it back to the office, pulled out the torch and the how do you say, angle grinder,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
cut it open.
that's how you say it.
So yeah, we cut off the roof, started completely. We gutted the trailer. It was beautiful. It was not so beautiful in the afternoon. Started rebuilding it, and I can't remember what the next picture is,
The next
but
picture, I think.
When it's finished.
It
oh
looks
yeah, here
amazing.
it
It
is.
looks awesome. Like, that is cool.
This is one of my, I've done so many fun things with 2B. Like, uh, I was destined to be a hillbilly in northern Sweden and never leave the country, basically. But starting 2B has taken me around the world on these amazing trips and adventures, and this is one of my favorite ones. We spent nearly 3 months in that parking lot, building this thing, and it was such a great thing too, because we would have like every team rider within driving distance from Colorado to come in and help working on the trailer together with us. We throw big barbecues in the evenings. People were really like working hard to pull this off and build it together. Like, it was awesome. Like, the vibe was there, and it turned out so beautiful. And after we finished it, we started touring around with it. So we would go from dealership to dealership and, show our products. But in between that, we would post up at the trailhead and do a demo day. So in the back of this tiny home, we had a full set of suits and boots and gloves and helmets and everything. So people could come in the morning, get a cup of coffee, and try on some gear, and then take it out for the day and come back in the afternoon. We would wait there with a cold beer and something to eat for them. And yeah, just to give people an experience of riding on our product.
That's genius. I
And
love it.
yeah, that was a lot of fun. That I've been. This is, I think this picture this is actually at a ski hill. We did a lot of demos at ski hills too. This is at the top of Brundage Mountain in Idaho. And if there's anyone from Idaho and never been to Brundage, you know what the road is like to go up there. And we went up there in the middle of a snowstorm where we didn't see. Like, this is what is it called in English? Like a goat.
Yeah, like a
Go
goat path.
path.
Yeah, it's like super steep and very narrow, and it's like a one-way road, and we were going up against the traffic because everybody else was going home. Oh, that was a wild trip. But anyway, lots of adventures like that.
How did that thing tow?
It is so heavy that uh, that truck there is that's a 3500 dually manual. We burnt through 2 or 3 clutches, I think, driving it. It was very heavy,
That's
but it was also very stable. You could go as fast as the truck would allow you to.
Wicked. I think like
Man.
you could have made a living selling those tiny homes. It's such a cool looking cabin you built there.
I want one for the track.
Yeah.
I want one for the moto track in the summer.
Michael DeGiulio
Yeah.
says, very informative, Thomas. Nothing but success for this guy.
Yeah, well, it was fun at least.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's very cool. And I love the logo. I think it's really
Yeah.
cool. It shows the progression upwards and growing, you know, up the mountain. It's such a neat icon you've got there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I like it. we uh, we spent a lot of time thinking about this, and we're happy with it. Definitely very happy with it.
Yeah, very cool. How do people follow you on what's your social media channels, and where do people keep in touch with what's going on there? Aside from your website, mountaingrit.com, where else can we find you?
I think, our just um, I think people mostly find us on Instagram. I'm trying to be on all the platforms and try to post separate content to all of them, but I find that we're probably the most on Instagram. But again, we're trying to be active everywhere. But if you yeah, the best chance of reaching us directly would be on Instagram, probably.
Excellent. They can see product launches and things of that nature on Instagram.
Yeah, absolutely,
How are
absolutely.
you going to deal? How are you going to look at sponsored riders and sponsorships, teams, things like that? Like, have you got a plan moving forward for that avenue in marketing?
Yeah, we do. And it might be a little bit different from the traditional way of doing this. Uh, we, if you remember what I said about our marketing, we are our ambition is to not do traditional marketing. We focus on creating positive stories that we can share and talk about. And the positive stories that we want to create is by doing things for the community together with our community. So our athletes and our ambassadors, one of the requirements are actually that you're involved in your community. So since we're both sled gear and workwear, we have a bigger variety of ambassadors than we had before. So it's not only athletes anymore. An ambassador for Mountain Grit can also be someone that is hugely like involved in his or her community and working hard for snowmobile clubs or helping um, less fortunate kids to get out in the nature and explore and experience things that are otherwise outside of their reach. So it's a little different approach to this. We want to work with people that are willing to give back together with us. So not just crazy athletes. It's not what we're looking for in the same way anymore.
Do you think that's changed a bit as well with the way Instagram? Drew put up your Instagram handle there. It's at mountain_grit_official. Do you think that the world famous athletes like Levi Lavalle's and things of that world. Do you think they're kind of taking a back seat to the Joe Blow celebrities, I guess you could say, they're on Instagram, like you had painted the picture, that are doing good things for their own community and building the network that way?
Um, I mean, yes, maybe. I don't know Levi personally that well. I think we've met once or twice, and I think he is a very humble and, from what I understand, an amazing person. So I think there's always a place for someone like him. But if I compare with the type of athletes we would attract and the type of athletes we would look for and the way we worked with them back in the early days, they were they were expecting to be treated as athletes, and basically someone that got paid to represent us, and they were rock stars. I think the average guy is a lot more interesting in many ways, and I think the days of the paid professional athlete and the same I'm not saying that it's over. There's probably a place for that with some brands, but for us, I think we're more looking for someone else, especially someone who's willing to work together with us and have maybe a bigger vision than promoting himself or herself as uh, as this huge athlete. We rather have someone that's very humble and a good approach, or good humans basically, that are also hopefully good snowmobilers and good people.
Yeah, I think I see a shift. Like I definitely see a shift out there in that world. Just in the people I contact and I come in contact with, and just seeing even the numbers on this show. Like if you look at even last week, Mama Gids was on, and her numbers compared to, say, a celebrity like Dan Adams or Levi, or anyone like that,
Mm.
and how how our community embraces like the underdog, so to speak, right?
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think so too. There's a place for the Red Bull athletes for sure. Like we're always gonna admire that, but you know, I think there's more to it than that today.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. Your grassroots approach on the company startup to growing it and having the community invest in it. I think that all fits more with the underdog and the smaller community profiles out there, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I think I want to say that most people that I ever worked with have always been very humble, and I enjoyed working with, you know, probably all of them. But I also think that's the kind of people that we attracted with Tubi, and the way we try to promote the brand. And now with Mountain Grit, we're only reinforcing that community feeling even more than before. So yeah, I have there. I made a lot of really good friends through snowmobiling, and a lot of our ambassadors are people I've grown into call my friends, and I hope to see that continuing.
Yeah, very cool. Kevin Reichson says, "Look forward to seeing the Mountain Grit products soon, and wish you success."
Thanks, Mike. Thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that picture you're looking at now, I snapped that picture a couple of weeks ago in our office, and that's me and my designer Alex, and we are wearing the first. We were just unpacking the first samples of the Mountain Grit jackets, and I saved this picture on my phone as something that I hope I'm gonna look back at as an iconic moment for us, like for us personally, obviously, in many years from now. This is that. This is the moment when everything finally came to fruition, like all that thinking, all that hard work. So yeah, that snap photo was all that.
I love that you've kept that you've taken that for the sole purpose of it being a memento that you can look back on. Have you kept any of your original TOBE gear as a museum piece or a show piece kind of thing, or is it
Oh
something
yeah.
where it's where you just want to forget about it all?
No, 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 absolutely not. I mean, we talked a lot about this. We're both Alex and I and everybody else involved. We're very proud of what we've done. Like that's our history. So we get a lot of messages from people like, "Hey, what am I supposed to do with my TOBE gear now? Do you want me to just burn this?" And we're like, "No, no, no, don't do that. Like it's still us that made that jacket. It was still us that made that suit. So keep wearing it. We don't want you to burn that. That's okay. We're proud of what we've done." So yeah, no. But yeah, and as a museum, yes, I have boxes of old gear. I was actually thinking about doing a little Instagram thing one of these days and show the old like the early days jackets. We had some pretty wild designs back then. I think it would be fun to watch that, to show that.
That would be cool. You got to model it though, Thomas. You got to put it on as you go.
I'll probably do that. I'll probably do that. We actually, so yeah, we have a little thing that's happening right after Christmas. Um, no, I shouldn't say what it is, but it has to do with the old TOBE jackets and suits. And yeah, if you want to promote a different label, you might have an opportunity to do that. But keep your eyes open. I'll have something for you.
That's wild. Michael
That
DeJulio
didn't make
says
any sense.
this guy has been great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And I did have another question. It just slipped my mind there on some. It'll come up to me again. Oh, I was thinking, going back to what I said in the beginning, where you've actually brought on a few of the people. You're doing this journey with a few of the original TOBE co-workers, I guess, and developers and things like that. Do you want to shout out to them and right now and explain their
Oh yeah,
role?
absolutely. A huge shout out to all of them, and we have Marianne, who's the backbone of keeping keeping me like a little bit in control. Oops, did I drop out? Nope.
You're good.
Yeah, no,
Yep.
we're good.
Are we still here?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, you're good. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Let's talk about your yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, huge shout out to all of them. And so we got Marianne that keep things under control and making sure that papers ends up where they are supposed to. We got Alex, our designer, who's been with us for I don't know 15 years. This amazing can do everything guy. And then we got Tori, super rad Colorado chick who rides snowmobiles and have ex professional snowboarder and is always on the road visiting dealers and customers and putting on clinics. So yeah, like this is my core team, and all amazing people.
How many people work for the company now and where do you see it growing?
So it is the four of us right now, and if for as long as possible, I want to keep it small, if nothing else, for a cost perspective. We'll add on more people as we grow, but it's also one of those things where we got to make sure that every person we bring in is the right fit, not just from a qualification point of view, but I think the personality is almost as important, if not more important.
I think that's true in any business.
Yeah, yeah, no, totally. And we learned the hard way what can happen otherwise. So the vibe is important.
Yeah, for sure. Well, listen, I want to thank you for your time tonight. It's been an awesome show, and I wish you all the best in the in the mountain grip and everything that's coming from it. And please keep us in the loop as you get ready to launch that brand. Be sure to send me some pictures and some announcements, and we'll make sure Drew and I put them up here on the air and on the show and get it out there. And head over to mountaingrit.com and look at investing in this company and in joining Tomas and all the rest of the people behind this company in their journey.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We'll definitely keep you in the loop. This has been a pleasure. I very much enjoyed this. And thank you for the trip down the memory lane here with the photos. That was awesome.
It certainly helps, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I know we'll hear a lot more about mountain grip and your mountain grit and your success as we go forward here. And I'm looking forward to following it as we go along.
We will definitely make sure we stay on top of mind for people.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to roll the outro now, but again, thank you for your time. And there's 2 more videos that Drew and I think you'll enjoy watching after this one. Be sure to click like, be sure to click subscribe, and also make sure you follow Mountain Grit.
And just one thing for our viewers, do not miss, everyone still watching, listening, do not miss next Monday for our Christmas special with the Redneck Dirty Hands. It's gonna be a wild one.
That's gonna be a wild
I'm going
one.
to the liquor store after work tomorrow night, and mentally preparing myself for the next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've already put an announcement in our Facebook group, guys. If you aren't a part of that, just drop a request to either one of us. But other than that, yeah, just take care.
Good.
Thank you for your time tonight, Thomas, and
Yeah.
good luck with Mountain Grit. I cannot wait to see things like the workwear and just more gear come out.
Yeah, I can't wait to try
Thank you
it.
so much.
It'll be awesome.
I'll make sure you get something to try on.
Yeah, you can stick around after this air, after I go offline if you want to have a chat, and away we go.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Thank you.
Good night, guys.
It's a journey for